Hey, good evening. This is Tiger. Welcome to my stream, and I hope the game will be picked up soon. And here we are back with SimRail for this, well, Christmas special, because it is Boxing Day special. Everyone around there not celebrating Christmas, no problem at all. Merry time of the year for everyone, whatever and regardless of what you are actually celebrating. Merry time, nice time, being nice to each other is something that you can do with or without Christmas. Totally. What? It is wrong. It says 27th. Oh no. I got this wrong. No, it says December the 265th. No, it is better, I hope. December the 26th. So this is maybe why nobody is actually watching now. People are celebrating its Boxing Day. There's so much to catch up with and so on. So today we are going to play some SimRail again, and then on Sunday, hopefully, we will be doing the end of the year stream in Arosa Train Sim World 5 back. And the idea for playing this today gave to me CD Radar when he asked me about how we can fix the two ED250 Pendolinos together to get from Warszawa to Tunnel. And it is actually a bit weird, but I think I got it going after a while. Maybe there has been a fix also. So it's the EP Warszawa. Did I write it correctly? Warszawa, yes. My Polish spelling skills are only rudimentary, and I typed it from memory, so I think I actually got it right. Got a scenario to drive a double traction Pendolino from Warszawa Wschodnia. I think we're starting to Kraków Główny. Yes. And for that we first have to couple two ED250 units, and that is a bit tricky because you don't really know how to set up the second train, and from what I've seen it is not so difficult, but you just have to hit the correct button and then it works more or less, and if you don't, then it doesn't. And ETCS is... here's the sound. ETCS doesn't really help you because it wants you to initiate ETCS every time you change direction or something like this. Well, we'll get to this. Train is setting up the game is setting up the train, hopefully.
Welcome to EIP Scenario Warszawa Wschodnia Kraków. Prepare the train for departure and report to the dispatcher for shunting.
Okay, there's actually not so much to prepare. The only thing that we need to do is to release the brakes. We're still being held by the spring-loaded brake. And the thing is, if we set up ETCS now, we would start with level 5, with level SHP, because there is no ETCS installation here. We would have to punch in the train running number. We cannot see it on the left of our screen yet, so we have to refer to our timetable. So we are train 1310. So if we want to punch in the train running number, it is 1310. And train data at the moment, we are just one single set of ED25. And then we can start it. The problem is that we cannot really use shunting. There is actually a setting for shunting, number 7, but it doesn't do anything really. So what I suggest doing actually at this point, so that ETCS does not get into your way, is to disable it as long as we are shunting. If we disable it very correctly, it says IS for isolated. And we can still use the
Wschodnia receiving.
Vehicle is ready for shunting.
Roger that. Go
J
on track
Gearish
to the
19, hi, nice to see you on the chat. Good evening to
Roger
you.
that.
Or is it JG Irish 19? Can also be like that. If so, I apologize for butchering your name. So, before we can start, never forget to release the spring-loaded brake. Then this symbol here extinguishes, and we can actually apply some power. So the idea is to shunt the train in front of the platform and then reverse to couple up to the second set. I isolated ETCS because the shunting functionality of ETCS does not seem to be implemented. We are doing ETCS level 2 today, yes. At least this is what I am expecting, that it is happening. Why we're actually attacking this here in this scenario is because CD Radar the other day said that he had trouble connecting and coupling up those two Pendolino sets here in this scenario, and I totally share his experience. I think I found out now what you have to do, but without a lot of fiddling about, this can be very frustrating in the beginning. And then we will hopefully do an ETCS level 2, level 1 run, playing this scenario here, until we might actually eventually arrive at Kraków. So it's part of the same, or it's more or less at the beginning, it's the same track that we already ran on in the video about ETCS cap signaling. So I think this is enough, more than enough probably. We're still shunting. You can see it from our light configuration, only the lamp on the right side is on. And now I suggest actually backing up this train with someone sitting on the rear and not changing caps, because that is annoying.
Wschodnia near semaphore K10, ready.
Setting signal on track 70. It's busy. Please beware to not push the second unit out of track. Report back after coupling.
Okay, lady. We're trying our best not to push the other unit out of the track. Wait for the brakes to release. Reverse is already back. And then you can use the camera number 6 to get a view from the back end of your train. So we're just role-playing that we have someone sitting in the rear cab, allowing us to shunt from the front end without having to reverse the setup. And then reversing it back again. And then we can just run into the other train set and couple up, right? Because we have automatic Scharfenberg couplers. Yeah. But don't forget that we have still the hoods on our couplers, so we will have to remove them before we can actually couple up. always a limit of 25, because shunting is always limited to 25, unless there is something like a clear track announcement in Polish rules. I still have not been able to find out whether this exists or not. So there is our second set. Like the lady said, make sure not to run into it too hard and don't push it out of the track. So take it easy and running up to it. And then obviously we have to stop before the train's touching, because, well, you can see the coupler is still hidden within its hood. And we have to open those hatches before the trains can actually couple up. That means we have to go back all the way. Okay. Let's leave this train here for the time being. And run back all along our 7 vehicles till we get to the end of our train set. And here we are. You can see both hatches are closed and we have to open them. How do we do that? From the cap. And this works actually regardless of whether you are on a setup train or not. It is this switch here that opens the hatch. What you might have seen is that the rear cap somehow adjusts the controls to the front end, what is a bit weird. Whoop. So you have to hold it in that position. As soon as those lamps are going on, you can see now that end is actually open. On the book it is different. The controls do not adjust magically from front to back cab, but on the older trains they do. Here you can see now the hatch is open, here the hatch is still closed, and this second train set is dead, and this will cause us some problems. And CD radar, now I can see what I was doing wrong. Yes, exactly. You gave me the idea to try it out, and I had to fiddle around a lot until I actually found what I was doing. And I hope we get to this. So, first of all, open the coupler cover. And this actually works without anything, even with the train being dead. It does not give the light, but for whatever reason, I don't know if this is prototypical or not, it opens the hatch. I hope that the game behaves just the way that it behaved before. So both coupler hatches are open, and we will do the coupling. We won't have to couple them manually because they are automatic Scharfenberg couplers. So we will just have to push one train against the other with a speed of around 1 or 2 clicks. So I always aim for 1. and then they should actually couple up, including all the brake hoses and the electric wiring automatically. Close the door. Enter our cabin. Sit down. Brakes. Release them as soon as the indicator goes off. What is happening now? We can aim for the coupling. So, Hank on the rear cab is radioing us what to do. If you set up the second train, you will see that the setup changes as soon as the coupling is done. So there is some sort of a coupling script involved, as it seems. And now, couplers touch. And what you can see is that the brake pipe drained all of a sudden. And now, even if you put it to fill, the brake pipe does not fill. And that was a problem that I encountered for the first time when I did this. And that was quite weird. And the ETCS switched off since we coupled. We will see. And let's enable the spring-loaded brake and put the brake. One thing is that you cannot see here on the HUD anymore what you're doing with your brake lever. It stays at 0 even if you can operate the brakes on your train that you are sitting on. If you stand up and sit down again, all of a sudden the HUD works again with your brake lever. That is a funny thing that I've noticed, but okay. And even if we put the brake into fill, it does not fill anymore. It stays at somewhere of half a bar. Let's put the brakes to some setting that will not make the train run away if all of a sudden we manage to fill the brake pipe again. ETCS is still isolated. Or is okay. We will turn it on again as soon as we have set up our train. So, I have crashed the CD radar. What actually fixed the thing was one simple button on the second train that all of a sudden fixed the whole setup again. Let's see if it works a second time as well. I tried it with setting up the train completely, but that was a problem because then also the safety systems were running even though I tried to turn them off. And then they stopped me, obviously, because nobody is pushing the chuvak or the SHP. So, what did I do? I turned on the battery. And look at the brake pipe, it is filling. For whatever reason that is, I can't tell you if this is prototypical or if there is a technical explanation. Now the brake pipe is filling. I hope the train does not run away. At least we set our lever to a brake position. Can hear some humming. Theodoros, nice to have you on the stream. Yes, it's Workshop SimRail again. How to couple up two train sets of the Pendolino. At least I fastened the spring brake, spring-loaded brake. And now since we have 2 trains again, we can... Well, actually, it enabled itself again. We had it disabled because there is no shunting or whatever. Let's sit down. And now I actually should have my brakes back. Yes, they are actually releasing. And they are applying. So, spring-loaded brake is still on for safety reason. Reverse it back to forward, and now we can set up the TCS properly. Let's use a simple driver's ID. That makes sense, right? The inverse valve had no power and was draining the pipe. That would be an explanation, and I accept that. But I cannot, well, say from my own knowledge that this is the explanation. But let's just accept it. Only thing that you have to do on the second train is to open the hatch and to power up the battery. And then it should work. Now we have to acknowledge, and we should actually be good to go.
Scharfenberg tow ED250
Something does not work.
Enter platforms is 1310.
Understood. Setting the signal right now.
Something does not work as intended. Always try getting the reverse in the correct position, stand up, sit down again, and then use the radio again, not disabled filling. That's what I wanted. We're still shunting. You can see it's only a shunting signal that we're getting. We're still limited to 25. And no, we're not getting. And the TCS did not work. Why? It is giving us SHP here. And now we're not getting anything. That is mean. It worked in the try that I did before. So what is different now? We have a pantograph. We have all the converters up and running. We have the brake pipe filled. I shall see the footage before the later, but for quick recap, how did you open the coupler hatch? It is this switch here. And you hold it in the one position, and then it will open. But you have to hold it a bit, and then you will hear a sound, and those lights are flashing, and then it opens the coupler hatch. Okay. Let's try it again with the ETCS. Note I have to check if the second train set has the spring brake activated, but it should not have. Train running number. Yeah, we have this symbol that means national systems, and SAP is on. So ETCS wise, this should be good. The most common problem I had was that the start was fine, but after reaching a speed of 35, the other train started to brake. This is if you set up the train, I think, and then the SAP or something kicks in on the second train. Moo. Looks like we don't have any power anymore. We lost our overhead catenary. But this is kiloamperes. We have power here on the left. But we are not getting any power, even though the cylinders are empty. Try to use RFB. Before the latest update, I can just couple by hitting the second train with 2. Why I never see that. Maybe the update did something to the scenario. Try to use AFB. Well, it was. Hey, Juniper, see you. Hey, nice to see you. Yeah, AJ actually talked me into doing this. And doing a second stream. The RFB. Yes, I just disabled it. Let's just try to do it again. Well, the train was always a bit funny with releasing the brakes and not getting any power. Funny enough, this is if you prepare your stream and check out what you need to do, and then it does not work. Let's see if there is something on the second train that we need to change. Maybe there is some setting on the second train that prevents us from drawing power. Let's check the brake handle. Let's check the spring brake on the second train. And then we will see. It doesn't even roll by itself, yes. That is true too. Aha, they have still... I disable here. I disable the brake pipe here. Let's see what happens. Those brake levers should not actually be connected, should they? So if I change that, the other one should not follow suit. So spring brake is actually... And now I have this one drained. Did it not close the door properly? That was interesting. Never seen that before. So at any rate, I disabled the one on the second train. Maybe we should have done this before. The problem is actually if those brake levers are connected in the connected consist, then you might get in a situation where you can never get out of it. Because from my knowledge about brake pipes and stuff, if you have more than one driver's brake valve on the train, then all the other ones need to be in shutdown so that you can operate it properly from the cab that you are driving from. Let's see what happens now. Now the train is actually rolling. And we're drawing power, see? So, ETCS, we can do that probably by running. It will maybe do the runway protection stuff now. Yeah, it does the runway protection stuff. Because it wants us to reset everything. The runaway protection stuff, not the runway protection stuff. But so we need to set the brake valve on the second train to disabled, so that it does not interfere with what we are doing on this train. We have to activate the battery on the second train, and we have to open the hatch. And then we're good. And then probably start ETCS, not before you're done. We can actually go. So, Theodoros says, I've tried the scenario before, but got bugged after entering the ETCS section. Probably because of that restart scenario bug. Yeah, that is probably a thing that can hit you a lot. We will see. I've never played further on than until we get to the double red. What is actually another nice thing that they implemented. You might remember when we were talking about the Polish signaling and the automatic signals, that red signals are typically permissive, that you can pass them just like a stop and proceed signal in the American system. After stopping and then afterwards going on side. Unless you get the S1a signal, 2 red lamps, the lower one is flashing. And you can encounter stuff like this, especially when you are going into a tunnel, and this is what happens in this scenario. I hope it still does. And when we will see balise reading error. Yeah, we will see. Point is, at least we got the trains rolling. And repeat, what did we do? We turned on the battery on the second train. We opened the hatches, obviously. And then we put the brake lever, the brake valve lever, on, disabled on the second train, so that we can actually control the brake pipe with the brake lever that we have on this train here. So, this is a single red, but it is not permissive because it is not an automatic signal, but a semi-automatic signal, what we can see from the mast that is painted white and red alternatingly. So, we have to go quite far to the end of the platform, because we are so long. And now we are obviously quite late, 15 minutes, for fiddling about with our train. But hey, then we will be late. What we can do now that we get a proper signal, not only a shunting signal, and what we must do now actually is to set the lighting to normal drive. We're no longer shunting. Now we have our 3 lamps on. And when 1 more minute of passengers boarding, or at least being allowed to board. Why is there no external camera, by the way, for the Pendo? 4 and 5 are now the same angles, right? At least for me. Now you have front and rear cameras now. It's helping a lot. Hank cam, if he's sitting on the back cab. Personal tip to change cab quickly, press 6, then 3. Sometimes it works. Oh yeah, that is a good idea. I was trying to avoid this, because sometimes this might change the script for the setup in the train. So if everything works well, this is really a good thing. So that if you use the 3 to exit, you will get to the point that is closest to your camera, and with 6 you're at the end of the train. Minus 225 points for departing the station late. Yes, well, I can live with that. And we don't get any points. Radio channel 2, that is still the same. Dead section. Soccer stadium. Dead section end. For EMUs. Nice light effects. So let's see if the script is still there for us with the double red signal. No, it's no longer there. Has already cleared because we are so late. Or was it on the second what next signal? Maybe it was on... Yeah, it was in front of the tunnel. The fire alarm 1, yes. Ah yeah, I think we get it. Next signal seems to be orange. Automatic signal, orange, telling us next one is at stop. And we can see them bright red. Fire alarm 1. So again, why is that special? It is an automatic signal. A white mast. And the red signals on automatic signals are typically permissive, so a single red lamp allows you to stop in front of the signal and then proceed on side And if you actually want to stop a train completely as a stop and stay signal, on automatic signals you have to use this S1a, I think is the code for it. The double red with the lower one flashing. So again, a flashing red light. And we can ask dispatcher what's wrong.
Warsaw Centralna to 1310.
Centralna receiving.
I've currently stopped before the doubly lit SBL. What's happening?
Luckily, it's nothing serious. Fire sensor failure. S1a should clear soon. You can then continue on your route.
Roger that.
Did it not make sense before, CD Radar? So from what I've read, those signals you can actually only encounter if you're going into a tunnel, because in a tunnel it is not only the problem with the danger of running into the train in front of you, what you can counter by driving on side, but the problem is also that you can get stuck in the tunnel, and that you don't want with all the passengers on board. It mean really stop. Not like in Murica, yes, true. Not like on the stop and proceed signals. Or as it has been in the UK until like whatever 10 or 20 years ago. Good thing this train has 221%. I was also shocked the first time seeing that orange signal. Says Theodoros. Yeah. But the train slows down nicely. Here we get an announcement of a speed reduction. Here we get an announcement of a speed change. Line speed to 80. The signal is actually limiting us further down to 40. 40 and stop, it says. Yellow over yellow, both steady. Still going. This Explorer achievement only works with the single player scenarios, right? Not with the multiplayer lines. I was busy looking at the timetable, close it, and then there was solid orange. Yep. That can give you quite a shock. So I guess we have to go all the way to the end of the platform. because we are so long, but it also means we can't have a lot of stops in the meantime because there's hardly a station with long enough platforms, right? What does the timetable say? Do we have stops on the way? So where are we? Warszawa Centralna. Zachodnia. Włochy? Really? No. Zachodnia, and then the next one is nowhere. Next one is Kraków, if I read that correctly. There is no PH anymore. And no arrival time. So after Zachodnia, we are non-stop to Kraków, if I read that correctly. I thought, well, at least we can make up 3 minutes. But we can't. You have to wait out the whole time. So the shorts here. I currently stop before the doubly lit SBL, that is the Samochini Plogada Liniove, the automatic block signal system. And the S1a is the name of the signal, the double red.
Ready to depart.
Close the doors. Release the brakes. And then let's go. Yes, I'm always happy if this train draws power. Fortunately, we lost 4 more minutes and are now 19 minutes late. I'll blame it on the malfunction of the fire sensors. As soon as we passed the signal, our signal speed got increased from 40 to 60. Here's the 90 increase. Oh, why does it take so long for our long train to pass this sign? We're almost at Zachodnia. At Zachodnia we had the last meeting on the 750 subscribers stream, right? Theodoro says, I understand its safety feature, but it kinda annoys me that we can't apply power unless the brake needles hit exactly 0, and that takes time. That is true. And I can't really see how this is a safety feature, because sometimes you want to apply some power to not roll backwards, but I guess on modern trains you have a feature to prevent this from happening. So that your train doesn't roll backwards, and you don't need to do that like on our SD40. Zachodnia. And then you can finally drive this baby. Let's get the speed control out of the way. Don't want to drive with the AFB. I think that too. Vectron got the AFB holding brake kind of thing. Yes, that's the thing. So that prevents your train from rolling backwards. But if you think of one of those American freight trains, you always have to get the throttle to notch 2 or 3 before you finally release the brakes fully to prevent the trains from rolling backwards. Or even the trains on Peninsula Corridor, the Caltrain trains. You don't want to release too early. You always want to
1310 ready to depart.
get some power on it before. At least you have this indicator, and it seems to work halfway reliably with the indicator. Still 19 minutes delay. Next point is Warszawa Wschodnia. Still radio channel 2. 90 limit. What I do is that after opening the door I turn on the spring brake and let the normal brake release. Yeah, that is an option. And then I just click the spring and I can start driving right away. That is a thing you can actually do if the spring brake is strong enough to hold the whole train. The thing is, I think operating rules should not allow this, because the spring brake only attacks at the locomotive. And if you have passengers boarding, you want to secure the whole train, including all vehicles, so you don't want to have the other vehicles like float, and if it is only a minor movement back and forth. So Now we have a connection to the radio control thingy. Don't tell Tiger or the authorities. Says Theodoros, because he is going to test this. So they shouldn't have such a stupid system of waiting so long for the brakes to release. Yeah, tell this. Tell this to your passengers. If the old ladies stumble when getting on the train and the car is moving 2 inches to the left. Don't know if this is actually a thing on those EMUs. But they are coupled up vehicles, so we're approaching ETCS level 2. Got into the 160 zone. Soon enough we will get the yellow reading. And we have to confirm. Why can I not get more power than 65%? Oh no, wait a sec. My TV wants to turn off. What the fuck? Well. Welcome in ETCS territories, the CD radar. I have a feeling this should not have happened. Authorized passing of end of authority. I don't think that we were actually passing an end of authority here, at least. It should not have happened. I mean, so we are in post-trip mode now. Let's see how we get out of it again. If we can just start it, or if we have to go through the passing of end of authority mode. If it just lets us go again. It does not. And let's try what we can do. In post-trip, we are controlled to 20. Well, let's see if we get better readings after that. Let's see what the ETCS is doing to us. And Theodoro says, yeah, the exact bug that I encountered. Let's see if we get out of this bug again by doing the end of authority post-trip thing. Proceeding with 20. If we have to go with 20 until we get to Kraków, then this will take until the end of the year, I'm afraid. At least it is level 2, so we should get a new movement authority at the earliest convenience. Well, this is what half of the main Czech railway will look like from January the 1st. Oh, we will see, and you will Hopefully tell us if you get a chance. And you said earlier that the spring brake is applied on every car, like on a metro train. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if on a EMU like this here, every car has a spring-loaded brake, and if so, if it is applied, we would have to check the brake markings on the side. If it is actually a challenge, then I'm the one who couldn't figure it out. Well, I don't think that is a challenge. Now we are passing a pair of balises again. I'm not sure if this is for our direction or the opposite side. Since we are approaching a signal, might be ours, but I don't know. Kara, what's up? Signal is as green as spring. And your metro train has a spring on every single bogie, I can see. Well, let's figure this out as soon as we have the time to actually look at the brake markings on our train. Whether every car and every bogie has a spring-loaded brake. So, more balises. So in level 2, the post strip should actually end by itself. Without us having to restart the whole thingy. If I remember correctly. And Theodore says, note, I was also hungry at the time, so I just quit. Yeah, those are the things where you start thinking, oh no. Dear passengers, we hope you enjoy sightseeing. Says CD Radar, yes. Well, dear passengers, you have the rare opportunity of taking part in an experiment of how ETCS works on this line here. You don't even have to break service. No. Well, actually, the other day I was playing in 2 of the servers that I was on, just shut down. Without me doing anything weird. I'm always tempted to try to restart the thing, but in level 2 we should actually get it. We need that. Hello, I am Balise and I have a whatever code for you. Yes, see radar, that's true. Hello, my name is Police 1401 and I've got a movement authority for you. Will you accept it? 50 bucks. If you don't want my movement authority, then you can crawl all your way to Koslov. with no more than 20. Try to pass one green signal and then turn off end of authority. Well, yeah. I would have to restart it, no? The override thing is already there. So I would have to go to main and start it anew. But I always thought that in level 2 this should end on its own. And all of a sudden, well, let's see. If nothing happens after passing the next set of balises at the next green signal, then I will just try that. And restart it. Had I not gotten the achievement for being late more than 30 minutes on the freight run the other day with a steam engine, then this would be actually a running contender for that. So this is actually not an automatic, but a control signal. Home signal for Yusefinov, if I'm not mistaken. And they have a pack of balises directly at the signal. Let's listen to them and what they are telling us. Signal at least is as green as spring. Well, we're getting shit from the signal. Right, let's try it the other way. See what happens. It's just loading forever. Dispatch, can you hear me? They're not talking to us either. Okay. Spund, says CD Radar, whatever that might mean. There's actually a non-leading setup. Maybe this is something for the second train set. I doubt that it is implemented. Well, I think the dispatch should at least give us the authority to turn it off. Now we can't even get out of this anymore. Funny birds. Oh, that's not a signal for us, it's from the opposite direction. Hint what train symbol 6 ETCS will look like. a bottleneck on the track. Well, let's see what happens if we activate it anew. Now we're running into a dead section. Those are still not implemented though. Well, if I turn it on while running, then probably we will just get an emergency brake. We'll have Thomas before ETCS. Definitely. We will have Thomas soon. So, that was not an ETCS balise. You know what? I will stop this thingy here. Thomas is a happy engine without ETCS. Yes, and have you ever heard of any disastrous incident with Thomas? No. Even if they jump off the track, they just jump on it again. So, let's try to set it up anew and see what happens. Obviously we have to start with S1a, or can we already start with level 2? Maybe we can already start with level 2. Then we will be in staff responsible until we get to a pair of balises. Yes, train running number. It's still the 1310. And start. No, I can't acknowledge with the hotkey anymore. No, I cannot acknowledge with anything anymore. Holy moly. There is no physical ETCS acknowledge button, is there? Just does not acknowledge it. Holy moly. And we will try it the other way around. Let's start with S1a. The train data has not changed. We are still the same train. With a running number of 1310. This I can acknowledge. Interesting. So, then we will just go on with our ride. Not that loading again. What topic will you discuss about Thomas? How tank engines work? That is a good question, Theodorus. I cross that bridge when I get there. So, unfortunately, we are limited to 160 now, as long as we are not getting back into ETCS level 2. We'll see what happens. If at the next possible location we will be actually admitted to ETCS level 2 or whether we are getting a penalty break again. Driving through checkpoint late, 35 minutes delay. And we are already approaching Grodzisk Mazowiecki. For some reason the power is always limited to 64. Even though the handle is fully open. Can't disable it. No, it is. No, it is disabled. I wonder if this is a thing that is connected with being a double traction. Train. DB, this is fine, says Theodorus. And good to see that I'm not the problem there, says CD Radar. Yeah. Well. Those scenarios always give you something to ponder about. I did not even notice the ambulance now. Because I was reading the chat, probably, or checking out something. I saw something pass in the corner of my eye. Maybe this was the ambulance that we were talking about. Could be fatal. Just cross the tracks in front of the train. Oh! It's always a good thing for the ambulance to do. That section. Did we have this limit to 65 since the start? I don't think so. I have to go back to the footage later. But I think when we were driving about in Warszawa, we were able to get to 100%. So, yeah, we definitely went to more percent before ETCS mayhem. Says CD Radar. Well, this is an interesting experimental run then. Now we're actually going to the high-speed part. Now we're getting... Let's see if level 1 works. I was able to acknowledge it. At least we did not get...
Corridor 1310, how's the sound after channel check?
Yeah.
10, hearing you well.
Balise read error. Same fun than before. Two. Have you managed to reach 250 in this game? No, Theodoros, I have seen that you got this achievement. I have not. So, thank you for post-tripping us again. Balise read error. Maybe this is a problem with the second train. But what would we do with the second train? You cannot really set the second train in a non-leading equipment. So with this delay that we saw there, maybe this is something really what is happening on the second train. Is there any way I can change the setup on the second train so that it does not interfere? It is not on, it is off this train, right? I'll tell you how this Theodorus hit the second train with more than 25 kilometers per hour. Maybe. Hit the second train and kick it out of the track. What are they doing there with their cars? Let's see what the second train is actually doing here. Why is this train set up, by the way? Why is this showing anything? This is doing weird things. Should not be active. Let's see if this killed everything now or if we are getting anywhere. That's how I got it. Good thing the train is not longer than those 7 cars. So, if I isolate the ETCS on the second train, and it is also isolating here on my first train. Stays isolated. That's the thing with those cabs interacting in a weird way with each other. Now we're rolling. All of a sudden, I don't want that. Golden PZB, LZB. Now this could actually work, this. Let's see. But I think it is fair to say that the second train is confusing the ETCS system. Because as soon as the second train is getting the balise, we're getting the balise read error penalty break. And now now we could actually go to 70%. But I have a feeling that this problem is also the second train, that we can't get the power to 100%. I have a feeling that the first contact with the ETCS somehow woke the second train from its slumber, and now it is causing mayhem. The thing with the only 65% power maybe has to do with that we cannot access the second train anymore, and that we are just pulling the second train with the first train around. So we cannot go faster than 160 without ETCS, can we? Not even in Poland. That was before the ETCS update. That was possible in the game, obviously. Is there a level change before we get to Idzikowice? Probably not, right? Aha, level 1 announced. Let's see if we get the same problem again. Fingers crossed. Bosch. Already tripped. But this time with the first train already. This time we did not even get a short period. Well. Thank you so much. No, this did not work. That is correct. Why is the door half open? That's interesting. See if the spring brake can the spring-loaded brake can actually hold the train, because all of a sudden the brake pipe is filling. Old lady now spilled fourth coffee here. I have to admit, this is not a fun ride for our passengers. What is actually this cap doing? Why is everything lit? This is not connected. But it is not disabled. It is actually enabled. The Mirel is disabled. The SHP and everything. But the cap is not activated from what I can see here. But why are those screens on then? Here the spring-loaded brake that we activated from the front is activated here as well. Brake valve is disabled, so this is the only thing that is actually different from what we are doing at the front. Turn off the battery. As soon as we turn off the battery, I think we are draining the brake pipe again. And if we turn off the battery, Do we need to activate this train here so that we can run ETCS? But it shouldn't. It should not get any feed if that is powered down. Weird. If it is activated anyway, the thing is I can only activate it on my whole train or disable it on the whole train, and those switches mystically get transferred. Setting gets transferred from one to the other. We don't have a pantograph. Stunny. Is there any chance to put this to non-leading? No, we can't. It is not highlighted. So we have to set it up here as well. But we cannot operate it from here then. This cannot be acknowledged again. So, if we just have this thingy activated, then we will run in a problem with the other safety systems, right? Nothaltradius stop. Can we actually disable all that stuff? Only thing that we cannot disable are those thingies here. SIFA valve. Let's see what it does now. If the Chuvak is killing us now. Yeah, maybe check that non-leading thing. Maybe I read it too late. But I can't check it, it is not highlighted. At least we got stopped almost directly at the shunting signal. In case someone wants to know close to know where we are. Did the same thing to that one here. No. It is definitely a problem that the caps are just sharing the information that they are set to. Except for the... Aha! See, now we can go back to 100% power again. After having activated the rear cap or the cap on the second set. But it seems a bit heavier than normal. Yeah, and now I guess the Chuvak kicked this Chuvak on the rear train set because all of a sudden, we got shot down. Where's the SOV in real life? In real life we would probably just disable it. And that's it, and then we will get a Maulkorb, alas, so that we are not allowed to talk about it. So your second train set, you are really a nuisance. Here, can you hear the Chuvak? No, the SIFA actually got us. Excuse me. But the SIFA is, it's using the same thing for the Chuvak, isn't it? Guess so. Yeah, you were not supposed to run. How can I deactivate that here? Anything I can bypass? I thought this here disables SIFA and the Chuvak. But it does not get disabled here. This train calls the Chuvak the SIFA, right? Same thing. Can't disable it. And if I deactivate the cabin again, let's see what happens now. I guess at some point in time we would have to call the Notfall manager and have the driver replaced so that he does not cause more mayhem out of pure frustration. Now ETCS wants to be set up anew. Good thing that we have a short driver ID. Like 1 for the only driver around that is not an... not an AI driver. Okay. I'm not getting any power anymore. Yep. So let's hope that the other train on the rear will actually stay dead and does not get activated by whatever incident that activated it. But now I am limited again to the 60. Whatever. Maybe it is already woken again, my train, by the balises that it is passing. So next time TCS is shooting us down, then I will just try isolating it entirely. But this is what I would look into if the ETCS balises are actually waking up the second train set, and as soon as the second train set is alive, it is doing mayhem. It is limiting my traction here. It is interfering with the safety systems. Now it wants to go in level 1 again. I have a feeling I know what is gonna happen. Stop now, says CD Radar. Here are the balises. Confirming opposite track direction, it said. And now it wants us to stop. With a release speed of 40. Balise read error, and now we trip. We did not trip anything. Well. Good God. So, isolate that nonsense. Brake pipe is filling. That is suspicious. I have a feeling I have to turn off the rear train set again because it might be on. And then we will drive without the ETCS. This time it actually worked quite well until we almost got to the release speed. See? Someone woke up my train. Why are those thingies on? They should not be on. It should be. Well, maybe they should be on. I have no idea. At least. In enable, disable, disable on both trains. That is disabled as well. Okay. Let's see if we can drive at least without ETCS. Let's see if it at least works again. It is enabled again. I want disabled. City releases from Warszawa to Kraków in 2 hours, they said. Well, maybe they should have invested in a second driver to drive those two train sets separately. Double traction in ETCS does not really go well together, but now that I fun up to 60%, up to a speed of 60. And now is this lowering down the power to 65% for whatever reason. Does this have to do with the setting of the cruise control? Whatever. Biała, Rawska, 15 kilometers. At least we are not yet 1 hour late. So I'm just trying to accelerate beyond the 160 now. Even though I have a feeling I need ETCS for that. So maybe this is a thing that is built into the program, that if you're running double traction, that up to a certain speed or from a certain speed on, you cannot use more than 65% power. So getting to Biała, Rawska home. Oh, we lost another 5 minutes. Next one is Strzałki. Nomad Soul, hi all, and hi to you. Nice to have you in the stream. So what's your experience with double traction Pendolino and ETCS? Zero experience. Well, ours is we cannot get it work. Theodore says 64 minutes late. Deutsche Bahn to PKP. Are you challenging me? Yeah, that's bad. Starting with 64 minutes delay, we have to pay compensation, right? 59 minutes was still okay. Good thing that we're not stopping anywhere. Meanwhile, check it hold our BS is you do that. Well, to be honest, there is too much magic going on in those trains with settings in one cab magically transferring to the setting in the other cab, and maybe we would have to call an exorcist. Well, but at any rate, I call it a success that we got this double traction Pendolino running at any rate. Even though we cannot get the ETCS system running in a way that it does not shoot us down all the time. And Nomad Soul says I stick to the EU07, the Shunting.
1310, report to Strzałki.
1310 on receipt.
There's a semaphore failure. Entry will be possible after receiving a written order S. Please report when you're ready.
Understood.
Aha, we're getting a written order S. Now let's see if we can actually stop from the 200 without ETCS in the braking distance that we have. Maybe we can. It's a dark signal, isn't it? It's not red, but dark. Strzałki what did he say? Strzałki or something like this. Yes, it is actually a dark signal. So what I really love about their scenarios is that they are using all those rare situations.
Strzałki, you can order S for 13 tets.
Written order S, number 7, for train 1310 with today's date. Section 2. Permission to pass entry semaphore B, light but Womier, giving the signal stop. The rest is obsolete. Station Strzałki, post Saint, 8:15 a.m. Dispatcher Kowalski.
Repeating order. Written order S. My number 3. Yours 7 for train 1310 with today's date. Section 2. Permission to pass entry semaphore B, like Bartłomiej, giving the signal stop. Station Strzałki, post Saint, 8:15 a.m. Dispatcher Kowalski. Train driver Robel.
Order correct. You can continue on your route.
Roger that.
Alright, so let's pretend we did not just repeat it from our head, but actually write it down. Do we have it here? No. No. But it should probably be here. Bartłomiej. The Polish spelling alphabet must be a special challenge too. And we did not get any restriction, right? No speed restriction, nothing. Mr. Kowalski. Does that mean we can just go on with 200? Maybe the penguins messed around with the second captain. Yeah, maybe the penguins. Blame it on the penguins. Train driver Wrubel. That's us. So we don't have any signal information. We don't know nothing about the next signal. But the dispatcher did not give us any restrictions. And the next is green, so we can just put the foot down and go on with our journey. If in doubt, flat out. Ashwinia, the 07, he said the Shudemka, not the Shudem, is the 08. Why did I think he's talking about the 08? Imagine this in multiplayer. Yeah, that's cool. In multiplayer. It's a thing that people will just grasp. There will be a rage quit every 5 minutes. Idzikowice is next. This is the section where the ETCS typically ends, and we have to slow down to 160 and then 120. Oh, those dead sections all the time. Well, this will be a long night, but I will try to get this train to Kraków. And if the penguins keep attacking... So I should have turned off ETCS and start probably to make the scenario work. I guess there is at the moment no way around turning off ETCS completely, because I have a feeling that it is the second train. The second train set that creates those ETCS errors. I'm afraid, Theodoros, you have to go off to work as soon as we get to Kraków. This will be a long night. The other day I played this scenario where you can pick one of the locomotives standing around at Katowice and then get diverted on this weird route via Olkusz to end up wherever, I think in Kraków. And I really like this beginning where you can just pick one of the locomotives standing around. It's just a bit sad that you don't have any time at all for the setup. even if you skip changing ends while shunting. So, approaching end of ETCS, we will be back in legality. Christmas time, end of year, run out of leaf is I see. So no work for you tomorrow. Yeah, well, I actually have to go to work tomorrow for the last day of the year. 66 minutes late we are. Look at that. And here is our limit to 120. Loftus dispatching station. At least we get 50 points back for honking. Merry Christmas, by the way, and or happy holidays, as Theodoros. Yes, same to you. You missed it in the beginning when I gave my best wishes speech. Opoczno, Południe. That means we're getting closer to the point where we... No, it's still not closer. Then there is Pilichowice, Olszamowice, Włoszczowa, Północ, Knapówka and Psari. And then we're finally going over towards Tunnel. There is still a bit to go. Are we going to Swiss for the end of the year? Yes, on Sunday we're going to Switzerland and doing a Rosa aggregates. High jingle. Spectre's not here, but he will be missing the Christmas jingle. At least I guess it. I have not looked into that mission pack that comes with the aggregates. I still have to do 3 snowy scenarios in Trainset World to get the December badge. But a Rosa in the snow is always nice. It always gives me a feeling of coziness. Opoczno, Południe. Come on, 4 kilometers I'm overdoing it a bit. On top of everything, we are getting docked for speeding. Driving through the checkpoint late. At least this gives us 10 points. That was Opoczno, Południe. 14 kilometers until we get to Pilichowice. I think Pilichowice is the one and only signal box that I checked out about dispatching so far, because you don't have to do anything else but dispatching trains from left to right and right to left. Off the SimRail topic, there was a freight train derailment recently in Japan. Was there? That is rare, isn't it? Usually you never heard anything going wrong in Japanese railway. So what happened there, Theodorus? One of those times it made their scheduling of the rail, I guess. I wonder if those signs for the end of the dead section work properly if you have a train that is so long. As long as ours. What happened, I don't know, no official confirmation here, but it happened when the train crossed a switch. By the looks of it, and my personal assumption is the switch failed to hold. Alright. Switches are tricky bitches sometimes. So we're soon getting to Pilichowice. Yeah, well, switch is typically... The switch is the proof of the pudding if there's something wrong with the wheel sets or with anything else on the train, or if the brakes are not set up properly or the train is too fast, then it typically will escalate on the switch. This is Pilichowice home. Whoosh, and we regained 1 minute. Didn't break DB record for breaking the sound barrier though. No. On the webpage for the Untersuchungsstelle für Eisenbahnunfälle you can find some interesting reports about incidents that happen on switches. Olszamowice, 15 kilometers again. So in multiplayer I actually enjoy running freight trains on this route here, because they typically send you into the sidings on every odd station so that the fast Pendolinos can overtake and pass. Knapówka, I think, is the first station that is already on the diverging line towards Tunnel now. So much green, so many green fields, trees, rushes. Okay, getting to the end of the automatic signals. Yes, you know why you are not running in... Oh, you are actually running in double traction. How are you doing this? Well, here it's okay. Here is no ETCS. So soon we will arrive at Olszamowice. Bing. And we lost the minute that we gained again. How sad is that? Oh my god, 28 kilometers to Warszawa, Północ. It will be Północ until we get there. Timetable in SimRail is pretty strict, says Theodoros. Yes. I totally agree. There is not much room to make up for lost time. Sometimes if you have a stop that is listed with a couple of minutes and you are actually allowed to leave after 20 seconds again, then you can make up for lost time there a bit. But apart from that, what you've lost typically. In the other EEP scenario where we run the opposite direction, I didn't know we have to change cap, so did it in a hurry and lost time. Yes. I think we all ran into that we did not realize that we had to change ends. We were sitting there lazing away the time with passengers boarding, and all of a sudden the signal was on the other end. But still, even if you know that you have to change the ends, it is quite challenging to do this within the time that is given. And so we did the 163 and the 160 limit, yeah. This is the only way we can scrape some split seconds back to go to the limit where you don't get docked, and hope that you will make up a bit. And in this other scenario that I talked about, that starts in Katowice and goes to Kraków, I really tried to speed set up the bug, but it is really hard if you have to inflate the pantograph first, and there are many switches to switch. But even with the trucks too, that might be the fastest locomotive to set up. You can never make it in time to leave Katowice in that scenario. Warszawa, Północ, 15 kilometers. Theodore says trains in world, oh, easy, can do this in my sleep, and SimRail with HUD on, late. I'm doing my best, okay. Yes, we're doing our best with SimRail. Yeah, at least they allow now to switch off the signal indications separately on the HUD here on SimRail. That is really good. That is a quality of life improvement. Ten kilometers, 9 kilometers. That's always the longest bit. between Idzikowice and Zawiacze is it the town at the other end of this track if you don't go to Tunnel. I guess we should get some signals then slow us down for going to Knapówka. Ab Włoszczowa, Północ gibt's wieder nicht. We will get to a piece of track where we can put the foot down. $200 again. If only the TSS would work. But we have an exceptional permit that we can go 200 even without ETCS on. Maybe Knapówka and Psaria still on the normal track. Yes, we gained the minute. Derail says, please let me know if you come across someone who knows a solution to this problem or if this is fixed in the game. I will let you know. For the time being, I will just force this train home to Kraków. Even though we are already almost 3 hours in the mission. And we have not even made it to Tunnel. But I guess this needs to be fixed with an update. And I think the source of the problem is how multiple cabs on a train interact with each other, so that you cannot properly set up multiple vehicles. So approaching a limit of 100. Actually, the 100 limit is already here. I just missed the flashing green light, as it seems. And this is the end of the mission. Well, we derailed. Happens if you run with special permit 200 without ETCS. Well, they say you should not run faster than 160 because you cannot see the signals properly anymore at that speed. And so I probably missed a flashing on the green light. And I did not know that I was approaching at signal speed of 100. And as soon as I saw the signals, I started braking, not with a full brake application, but it was not enough, and so we got kicked out at the switch, probably. I guess this is what happened. Interesting. At this point, we have a speed limit of 3,600 kilometers per hour. Should have taken the switch there. Driving past the stop signal, it says. No. Did not pass a stop signal at this point. To the moon, yes, 3,600 kilometers per hour. Why not? It's only for a short spell. That's even more than we had in the Niddertalbahn, right? In this one scenario on the Niddertalbahn, there is a limit of 1,000 or something like this. 1,000. Here is a limit of 3,600 kilometers per hour. We only went 159. Good. Well. Experience gains for 2 hours and 49 minutes. 0. Well. Sometimes things are not entirely forgiving. So see, the radars clipped it. Let's see if I can watch the clip while doing the stream. It says it is still 1 kilometer to the speed limit, right? And then it was already there. There was the signal. And then there was the switch, and it kicked us out at the switch, didn't it? Because we were supposed to go towards tunnel at this point. And the speed limit is actually later, but the signal speed limit was before that. And I did not see the announcement of the signal speed limit. See, in the clip still when we are passing the flashing green. Probably not. But I guess this is proof to the theory that you cannot rely on drivers seeing properly. The signals. Oh, so should I make another one? Yeah, maybe let's investigate if you can actually see a flashing green. It should be a flashing green announcing the limit to 100 there. But that's the problem. You cannot really see it flashing if you're too fast. And I did not get the 250 kilometers achievement because I did not go 250. Not even in the part where we have a speed limit of 3,600 miles. Well, that's a bit sad. I intended to get this train home to Kraków, but chaka, that's it. Should have known better that there will be a speed limit coming up and not rely on the HUD that told me there are 600 meters left to slow down. Well, that's the thing. Maybe I should have yanked in the brakes a bit harder. Though. Still, where did I go? 4 or 5? Yeah. Hit the switch with 160. Plumph. And there we go. yeah, thanks guys for staying with me. That was, oh, there is another clip. Let's see if CD radar found the green light that I did not see flashing. Thank you for slowing it down already. Yeah, it is flashing. It seems to be flashing. So, good thing they invented things like ETCS. Bad thing that it does not work in the multi-traction here, in double traction. Anyway, maybe we find a way to get around this. At any rate, we managed to get the trains coupled together and working as one and start them and drive them around. Even if we did not get it with the ETCS. Guys, thank you so much. Was a nice night with you. And I will take out the dog and cool down a bit. And then on next Sunday, we will meet again in Switzerland. Have a nice time. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. And have the greatest of times.